He's taking the sword. That filthy. Trenton glowers for a moment. At least you escape with your life. The Lash's bite is a vicious one. Also, Trenton Lighthammer. So it's not used to that name on an elf, more used to, I would have... Well, a name like Lighthammer, I would assume it's a dwarf. But, that's just me. It's a high elf. I think he's meant to be a high elf. I'm gonna put my money on high elf, yeah. That foul traitor. I should have known better than to trust his kind. My huntress Sotras has blinded me. Forgive me, Durcar. Mizgo has fled inside Zulfarik, the heart of the Sanfury civilization. If you truly seek the sword, you must pursue him. Do not go alone. The entirety of the Sanfury tribe lies in wait behind those walls. They do not welcome you. I must stay here. My search for the blade must end. Should you find it, keep it. I must give up before I am consumed.
Good luck, friend.
But Zulfarik is burly, so it's... Yeah, no, I'm not going there. Okay. Let's line her up. And auto run. Beautiful. Let's have on our way over, let us have a look at the dungeon. Those guys like starting off with lunging bite, which means they just can't catch me. Let's have a look at... Oh, that one got lucky. Razorfin Downs. Actually, I think I may have already read this. Let's have a look at... Let's look at some Burning Crusade ones. At the heart of Outland's barren Hellfire Peninsula stands Hellfire Citadel, a nearly impenetrable bastion that served as the Horde's base of operations throughout the First and Second Wars. Watchkeeper Gar Molmar, reviled amongst the denizens of the Outland. Gar Molar is known to eat the hearts of those he catches near the Hellfire Citadel, whether they were trying to enter or not. Charged with by Kargat Bladefist himself with the defensive ramparts, Watchkeeper Gar Molar is unflinching in his duty. Omor the Unscarred. Omor the Unscarred was a disciple of Hakar the Houndsmaster. That was a demon. It's nothing to do with Hakar the Blood God. The Blizzard just seems to like the name of Hakar and used it twice. Without realizing the reuse. Which, ooh, that's an Invisa Scorpion. I just wanted to see what's, Buffett had. You know what that was called. Stealth, okay. Reminds me of, the Game of Thrones thing. In Game of Thrones story, there's a guy called the Night's King, who was who's the leader of the Night's Watch, who joins the others and corrupts the Night's Watch, binds them to his will with magic and whatnot. There's that. Ooh, let's skin this. Let's actually take a spin over here. Sometimes there's a rare here, I think. Or maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. But regardless, there's that guy. But in the show, I don't think this guy has a name in the books. I've only been hearing podcasts and maybe some stuff off the wiki. I've never actually gotten to sit down and read the books. Tried to before, but then someone wouldn't shut up, so I just couldn't. I ended up seeing like Danny getting her Danny's brother like grabbing her by the nipple, and I just like, oh, okay, that's the incest I've been hearing about. I was wrong, obviously, but I was just like, yeah, I'm done. So it's just, yeah. I've been meaning to get back to it, but I just haven't yet. Anyway, I don't think he's named that in the books, but let me start again. In the books, there's a guy, and it might be referenced TV show, but there's a guy called the Night's King, who's the corrupted Night's Watch commander. then there is in the show, there's a guy called the Night King, who was the spoilers. Actually, I'll keep it clean, spoiler free. He's the head of the others. The White Walkers, he's the boss of them. They're two separate people, but they have practically the same name. They're missing a apostrophe S, possibly a D, depending on how you want. THE, depending on how you say one of the names. You know, it just seems a bit too close. But you know, it's gonna just instill a confusion. It's one person. What's one thing for two people to be called Rob or whatever in the series, and it's another thing when it's just like you know, two people go by, you know, it's very, very similar codename, nickname. It just seems weird. I wonder if that's a case of the writers doing something weird or what. Like they, for whatever reason, they've just done away with the whole Golden Company mark and whatnot, and the whole Aegon side plot. I say side plot; it's very important, but you know, it's they've done away with that whole angle. And they've handled Jorah, his thing, very differently than it is in the books. So maybe this is just another case of that. In the books, he doesn't get to... I can't say anything, it's spoilers. But anyway, something happens to him in the show. It doesn't happen in the books. He gets something else horrific to happen, but that doesn't happen. I haven't really helped clear it up in any way, but oh well. Also, here is an infinite whelpling. It's a whelpling of the infinite dragonflight. It's too burly for me to capture though. Anyway, and took charge of the legendary warrior's remaining fellhounds after his master's defeat during the War of the Ancients. Since that time, O'More has never been defeated in a single combat. The venerable demon is Ilden's envoy to the fell orcs of the Hellfire Citadel. Again, hammering home, Ilden is a bad guy. You know, this is... I kind of... to bitch about something for a moment. In Legion they say Ilden was the good guy and you're wrong for killing him. This isn't Ilden's redemption story, it's yours. Ilden, in that Burning Crusade, was a straight up bad guy. He was enslaving people. He was allying with these orcs. He was a straight up bad guy. And personally, I have a kind of a... What's going on? Ooh, this is interesting. Some sandworm. Ooh, it's an elite. Let's kill it. Nice. And I just got 2 tick ladder. Not bad. But, he was, like, to be honest, I have one little... In the Black Temple, there's a place called the Den of Mortal Delights, where there's a ton of concubines and whatnot, and there's no, as far as I've seen, there's no real lore about it. So, my mind, since I'm a bit grumpy about that whole thing, jumps to the worst possible conclusion, that the whole mind-controlled servants thing extended to the concubines, because the concubines were being served by mind-controlled guys. So my mind is jumping to the worst possible conclusion you can see there. But you know, that's not necessarily the case. Like I said, there's not much lore to back the thing up at all. Maybe, you know, everything was above board in that one case. But regardless, like I said, in Outlands, in Burning Crusade, Ilden was set up as a pure bad guy. He was being kind of an anti-hero before, but he had started working for the Burning Legion, and apparently his failure to defeat Arthas has kind of driven him a bit mad. But Legion time, he's pure. All his flaws and faults have been ignored and wiped away. Him enslaving people has been ignored. Him being an outright bad guy has been ignored in favor of fanboying them. It's incredibly irritating and incredibly shitty writing. It's incredibly shitty writing. Like, my fucking god. Basically, all I'm saying here is that I will be a horrific. Like, if I ever do get my story done, and someone wants to do an adaptation of it, I will be a horrific person to have to cooperate with, because I wouldn't want making changes. Like, it's like the best I could tolerate is, say, if I could, how should I word it? Like, yeah, like I was thinking, if you like, I feel silly at the same time, and it's caused me to lose track of my words. But yeah, I'll be a terrible person to, try and cooperate on a topic like that, because I want you to be very accurate. I could maybe put up with a character with the wrong eye color, or if they had two. No one does, but say if it's two different eye colors, you get the wrong color for the wrong eye, like getting it reversed. It's not a big deal. It'll be annoying. It's slight annoyance, but it's not a big deal. I can live with it. But I would want you to be following the actual thing accurately, and not be making changes for shit. So yeah, I wouldn't be very lenient with that, because I would want the lore to be accurate. You can certainly bring it in your, say if you're set after the books, you could bring it in your own direction. Sure, just keep it accurate to the story and true to it. But I would have no issue with it going in their own direction, as long as it's accurate to the thing. It's like, if I have certain rules set out for the universe, not to be changing it, because then I'm just gonna be like, yeah, sure, whatever, and just be grumbling about it to myself and anyone that will listen. But that's why I get so annoyed about this, because I'm very obsessed with the lore, and this is retconning shit, because it seems like there's a fanboy at the helm. But saying that, well, Warcraft stuff doesn't stick to its lore too well anyway. I went too far south. It doesn't stick too well to the lore anyway, because Warcraft 1 stuff is apparently retconned by like Warcraft 2, and I'm sure there's stuff in Warcraft 1 and 2 they're retconned by Warcraft 3, and Warcraft 3 stuff has been retconned by WoW. There is Underhall isn't in, for example, Underhall, as we all know, it is here. Underhall, as it is in Warcraft 3, is like here. The areas are laid out differently. Eversong looks like this, while in Warcraft 3 it looks very differently. There's changes of things. So it probably feels wrong to be anyway annoyed at the differences in the lore, considering how prevalent it is in the series. The series has done plenty of retcons, but at the same time, I'm not really getting into WoW, so that's what kind of where my heart is. I'm less bothered by the changes in games I haven't played to that. Still, I prefer if that had, up. Still prefer if it hadn't happened, but it's not as big of an issue for me because of that. Also, there's Aquamentus the Unchained. Let's kill him. Booyah. But yeah, anyway, I hope that makes sense. Let's go back and get to True Silver. So yeah, Bellyskin Burn Crusade Odin was set up to be a pure bad guy, and now it's just suddenly like, oh no, he was actually the good guy all along, even though, and just pretend he wasn't enslaving people. It's enslaving and mind controlling people. Trying to, I think he was even siding against the Naru, and they're, as far as I can tell, meant to be like the personification of, well, not personification of good, but they're like the Like, they're very staunchly good aligned, you know? So yeah, it's just weird. Plus, Anaro was the one saying that he was, you know, this fantastic guy, despite all this. It's just so, ugh. I'm just gonna keep bitching here, so I'm gonna just try and move on. But basically, yeah, I've no problem with him getting a redemption story and trying to be better, but you actually have to acknowledge him being bad. You can't just say, but you're worse for killing him! Ha ha! It's, ugh. That's just irritating writing. Ugh. Fanboys. Actually, on a side note, how should I express this? There's a guy who worked at Games Workshop before, and I think he's working there again, and people didn't like his writing. He was a big fanboy of Space Marine faction. Don't know if I'm trying to not say too much here. People who actually know what I'm talking about know it well enough. Matt Ward, he was a big fan of the Ultramarines, and he wrote things that apparently didn't groove with this stuff, with the setting. He made people too powerful, that kind of thing, and had clear fanboy issues for the Ultramarines. Apparently, this is just what I'm hearing. Whether it's true or not is an entirely different matter. But this is, anyway, like I was saying, this is what I'm hearing. He, so yeah, how should I phrase it? But yeah, basically, people weren't happy with that, and that's fine. They weren't happy with his writing, and they complained. They complained or critiqued accordingly. But some took it too far. Apparently, the guy got outright death threats, and that's just fucked up. Yeah, the guy might be, he might have been rather biased in his writing, but that doesn't deserve death threats. That deserves, well thought out critique, or in my case, mindless bitching to a wall. That's, like, sending death threats is beyond the pale. So, like, just to be clear, no one gets, over eager for my bitching and start doing something stupid like that. Okay? I doubt that'll be the case, but I just wanted to say that, in case anyone was getting any funny ideas.
It's shaking.
I can actually engage those guys over there. Covert Ops Hardsuits and Kelsey Steelspark. Kelsey. Can't help but think of Kelsey from Saints Row. This is going to be a walk in the park until this was going to be a walk in the park until that airhead over there came out of nowhere with an army of gnomes. Gals will have my head if we let these creepy runts one-up us here. Momentum. Good thing you're here. I'm going to need a lot of help if we're going to beat these gnomes to the punch. Dead man's chest. Look, babe. You should be able to see what's happening here pretty easily. There's pirates, there's goblins, and the gnomes are fighting the pirate. There's pirates, there's goblins, the goblins are fighting the pirates. There's some sad little gnomes trying to fight the pirates too. I'll try and make it nice and simple for you. We need to kill a lot of pirates. Go do that, okay? We don't want the gnomes killing more than us, after all. To the ground. I've conducted a thorough appraisal of the real estate here, and unfortunately its market value is just far too low to be of any use. We're going to have to renovate. Looking for you, I happen to know a few things about arson. Hopefully you have too. Looking for you, I've learned a few things about arson. Hopefully you have too. You're going to be throwing these perfectly safe bottles of flaming rum into those filthy ramshackle huts over there. Try not to stand downwind. Let's not be wasteful here, babe. Sorry, I'm just fixing my headset. Let's not be wasteful here, babe. These pirates have tons of valuable nonsense just sitting around, waiting to be fenced. Can't you just believe they just sit on this stuff? I mean, why do they even bother taking it? If it's just gonna if it's just gonna sit around, stolen goods should be sold off and used to buy new shiny things.